This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the 1987 cult horror comedy, The Monster Squad. Plus, Deadpool 3 joins the list of movies delayed by the actors' strike. There's a new book out revealing the behind-the-scenes stories of the making of Marvel Studios. Netflix has turned Squid Game into an actual game show. Taylor Swift beats Martin Scorsese at the box office, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, October 23rd, 2023.
Oh, hi, I didn't hear you come in. This is Ross Marquand from The Walking Dead, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. Now, if somebody could please explain to me what a geek boner is, my life would be complete. Until then, rock on, nation.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Talking, we nerded. We funny, disturbing. We talking, we nerded. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah.
Hello, what's up, listener? How's it hanging? Welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us all the way from Transylvania, he flew in. It's Count Druncula. How are you, Your Honor?
I want to suck your blood.
I want to drink your beer. Oh, it's dope.
I want to drink your bourbon.
Boo. That's bad.
I should have said I want to suck your bourbon.
I want
That
to
would have been
suck
better.
your bourbon. Would have been.
Do you like spitball these before with someone, or do you come up with them on the
I just
spot?
came up with it like 10 minutes ago when I was like, fuck, what is my opening going to be for Uggs? And the other one I was going to go with was joining us, Monster Hunter Van Fartsing.
That's a good one too.
That was a good one too. So, okay, I got to use both of them.
Van Smelsing.
Van Smeltsing was the other one. I started at Van Smelsing because that sounds funny. And then I went to the fart joke. All right, well, I got to use all three of them. Fantastic. Yay. I was very excited. Well done, everybody.
I was like stopped at a deer in headlights because whenever you say news, it just makes me chuckle.
News?
You pronounce it news. Yeah.
I do add a couple of
Like
syllables.
Jason Mewes.
Jason Mewes. This news.
It's like Australians adding 4 syllables to the word no. It's amazing.
It's aluminium.
Don't say that.
What? What's the matter with that?
Aluminium.
Is that wrong?
No, it's correct.
If you're British, it's right. If you're
yes.
American, it's completely wrong.
Yes.
Unless they spell it different, do they? I don't even know. Do they add the extra I?
They do. I think it is spelled differently and just completely different word for some reason. But this is not a dialect podcast. That's a different podcast. We're going to go over some fun news and review.
News.
News and reviews. We got a fun Halloween movie for pre-Halloween week. But first, lots to discuss. Let's get it started.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Hollywood strike update. Anthony, give him the news.
They're still on strike.
Oh, shit.
That is correct.
Someone's still on strike.
The actors, SAG-AFTRA. This is day 102, which I believe, what I could look up, officially makes this the longest strike in SAG history.
What about the Federation Actors Guild?
The Film Actors Guild you're talking
Yes.
Oh, that one. Yes, I get those confused.
Yes.
Anyways.
The Federal Actors Guild, that's an old Civil War.
Well, then there was also what was the Federal Actors Guild? That's all I got.
I believe Ronald Reagan was in charge of
Yeah.
that one back when he was an actor.
I was not a fan of that.
I'm talking about the Screen Actors Guild.
Oh,
Yes, they have broken a record. They're going to meet again this Tuesday after talks broke down last week, whatever. But now they're in history, longest SAG strike ever, which is causing more things to get delayed. Of course,
Lame.
joining a growing list of movies is apparently Deadpool 3. There's nothing official from Marvel, but Deadline, everybody's saying their sources are telling them that it's not going to make their May 3rd summer theatrical release, as only half of the movie is done, has been shot. And there's a strike. Nobody can work. So they think what's going to happen is Captain America Brave New World, Captain America 4, that was coming out in July. It was originally scheduled for May 3rd. It's finished production. It's in post-production. They could finish that and possibly put that in that May 3rd, and then Deadpool would be what? I don't know. November. Bummer, I guess, huh? What do you guys think?
Well, this is what happens when you have a strike. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be surprised that it's affecting shit. It's exactly what it's going to happen.
Yeah. No one's working, and I looked at the article, and yeah, I mean, there's, even if they get everything going.
Yeah, even if it's,
movies in May.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're putting
released in
stuff
May.
out because they're not soliciting anything really. There's like hardly any like buzz about movies that are coming out, and they're just still releasing stuff. So,
well, they don't have the promotion is suffering, right? There's nobody talking
Right.
about it. They're trying to do things.
so it's a lot of this is like a gamble. Maybe they could chalk it up as a loss and they could write it off. I don't know why they're doing it, but
You're talking about like the Marvels.
well, yeah, there's just stuff that's continuing to come out, right?
Yeah.
And there's no way to promote it and the way to get a buzz about it.
You know, the movie's done. It's got to come out. But
So just be happy we have shit to watch, I guess.
but largely, there people are saying that even if they're looking at the January return to production, at this point, the way these things are going,
Well, their last meeting, they almost figured it out, and then they had like a stalemate.
yeah,
so
well,
then
studios walked away and stuff, and so they got to get back there.
they'll figure it out. I think by the end of the month, or maybe by the end of next month, for 100% sure they're gonna be doing.
The other one that got pushed just today, Mission Impossible 8, otherwise known as Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Doing my Imran impression.
Oh, that was supposed to come out next June 2024. It has been pushed to May 23rd, 2025. Memorial Day 2025.
Jeez, how old is Tom Cruise going to be?
I don't know, because how are they going to restart? Every day they're on strike, he gets older, and Xenu has to try to keep him younger. It's using up all the Xenu powers.
Dude, Tom Cruise is cloning himself right now. Don't worry about it.
That's the only thing he's going to have to do. He's going to need an AI Tom Cruise. But there is a growing list. Remember, Dune moved, and a bunch of other movies, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Kong, Godzilla X Kong, Kraven the Hunter, all these movies that were are pushed their release schedules. TV shows, Cobra Kai is going to be late. Daredevil.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a period of time in the movies where we're going to have that sweet spot where, and it's not sweet, where they don't have any movies left to release, and all these movies were delayed.
And TV shows. All these TV shows are, but I feel like there's a bank of shows because things, again, like you said, Rugs, things come out, but there's going to be a big hole.
Yeah.
They're going to need game shows and reality TV to fucking fit in, slide in.
I'm actually relieved because there's so many things I need to catch up on still.
I
So.
still feel overwhelmed that there's so many things to watch despite all these delays and things. I'm like, oh, fuck, I forgot about this. All this thing came out. So we'll see what happens. Listen,
If there's one guy that I feel like watches everything, it's you.
I mean, not everything, but a lot of things. I try.
Go outside sometimes and run. Jesus Christ.
I know. Look, I should get outside sometimes, get some fresh air, sunlight. But the sun burns. I have no pigment. You understand?
He's like a mole man at this point.
I'm like, yes. I have to hide in the dark basement. Listener, join this conversation. Let me know what I should do. Or you're feeling overwhelmed, you can join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. There's a link in the episode description. Lots of fun. It's a closed, exclusive group just for you. All right, moving on. There's this book that's out that's been getting a lot of attention past few weeks. It's about time we discuss it and mention some of the things
like
in
a
it.
book without pictures in it.
It is a
real
It
book.
is a book with words. Not only it's a book. The book is called Reign of the MCU, the Reign of Marvel Studios. It is 529 pages.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
It's a legit book written by Joanna Robinson, Dave Gonzalez, Gavin Edwards, pretty much detailing the whole history of the MCU. It says the unauthorized behind-the-scenes story of the stunning rise and suddenly uncertain reign of the most transformative cultural phenomenon of our time, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In fact, there was so much buzz, I have this book in my hand. I ordered it the other day. It got here today. I have not had a chance to
I
read it.
pre-ordered it. I've had it paid for it for a while and got it maybe a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
I
wow.
started
So
reading it as well.
you were on this. Why didn't you mention it before? You were hip to this before.
I didn't know you know. First off, I didn't know you knew how to read.
You know what? I can't remember the last time I've actually read a book, to be honest. This is going to be fun. I'm like, I don't know, when am I going to find time to fucking read? So you've read some of it. When do you find time to read, Anthony?
I try to read before I go to bed because it's instead of watching TV or something. Better for the eyes, and it helps kind of wind you down.
This thing is selling really well, though. It's like Amazon bestseller hardcover. It's like number 13 on the list. It's like a top seller.
Joanna Robinson. She's on The Ringer.
Oh, she's from The Ringer. Okay,
I forget what she does, but she's on The Ringer, and I've always enjoyed what when she's speaking about Marvel because she knows her shit.
I mean, flipping through this is clearly the hundreds of hours of interviews. There's a lot in here. It must go into detail. How do you like it so far? We're going to discuss a couple of things that have been written about in articles. Nothing too big major because I want to read it too. I don't want it spoiled. But a couple.
Yeah, it's so far I've read it the first 2-3 chapters, and it's mostly about pre MCU. So like when they were trying to release movies and all the behind the scenes about the rights and all this shit, and Avi Arad and Perlmutter. So Fahey kind of was just a movie nerd, and he like worked his way up with Marvel. It's interesting. I mean, there's only a couple. I've only read the first 2 or 3 chapters.
It looks like there's a lot of juicy shit in here. I'm really excited to learn about like the entire backstory. Ruggs, does this sound appealing to you at all? Would you read this?
Juicy shit sounds appealing.
There's some juicy shit.
Very watery diarrhea in this book.
I'm telling you, I can smell it off the pages.
This sounds like the start of the 3rd segment.
This is
Jock and Nerd.
Yes. Juicy shit segment.
I mean, I'm not going to read a book about this because like I feel like I've been living this. Like just doing this show, I've been like, my hands have been involved, like knee deep. I've been knee deep in all this. My hands have been in it. So if there's anything that really is groundbreaking that we haven't already heard before, I'll be shocked. But let me know how it is. If it's written in a compelling way, maybe it's worth checking out. But
I mean, I had that same thought. I feel like a lot of it is stuff that we've talked about, that we've been following, but I bet there's more that has not been released. So, for example, here's a couple of tidbits that have hit these websites from the book. The first one being Kevin Feige talking about 2 names that are banned from future MCU projects, 2 names he will never work with again. Do you guys want to guess at either of the 2 names?
Imran Javid.
That is incorrect.
Oh, okay.
It never explicitly.
I already know because I looked at this prior, but
Ruggs, you want to guess?
Ruggs, guess.
Who you won't work with anymore that he already worked with?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 people.
Jon Favreau?
No.
Okay.
That's it. That's your guess.
Rhymes with
James Gunn?
Incorrect.
Nope.
It is Ed Norton.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Joss Whedon was the other name he mentioned.
Okay.
Which I get the Ed Norton. I remember hearing about how difficult he was.
When they released Ed Norton he publicly threw him under the bus.
Yeah. A lot of creative differences. He did not like the Marvel method.
Well, he literally said, I want someone that's collaborative and wants to work with all our actors.
Oh, okay. And he didn't find.
Paraphrasing, yeah.
Oh.
Because Ed Norton was like super combative about everything, apparently.
He did not take direction well. It's not open to ideas.
Yeah, he likes to smell his own farts.
What about the Joss Whedon? What did you hear? Why him after the Avengers?
Him because he didn't like what he was doing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
While they were doing the MCU. He felt like it was taking away from what he was doing on screen.
Yeah, that's when Marvel TV was completely kind of separate.
Marvel TV was doing an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, and he was in the midst of burning down S.H.I.E.L.D. in Captain America Winter Soldier.
But he only Joss Whedon only wrote the pilot, I think, and then his brother was on it, I think, mostly. That was odd, though. So
but nobody wants to work with Joss Whedon anymore.
Yeah,
not just him.
That's a good point. The other interesting thing, this not actually from the book, this from the Watch podcast and Joanna Robinson saying, quote, we have a quote from Kevin Feige sort of implying that Secret Wars will serve as a soft reboot in which they can prune everything. That's not to use the Lokiism. They'll prune everything that's not working. Just keep what is working or bring back people you thought were gone forever.
Oh my God.
That's kind of interesting. We thought that was the rumors that Secret Wars was going to be a reboot. What do you think that means? Like, we're going to get a recast OG, or they're bringing back like Chris Evans and fucking Downey Jr.?
I feel like with AI, they're just gonna like pay them for their
and
likeness.
Just scan them one time scanning fee.
Come in here, read this dictionary, and then make all these facial expressions, and then you don't ever have to be in a movie again. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a big fan of them rebooting things, but that is very comics.
Yeah,
right?
Reset.
So, comics does that all the time, so it's not completely out of line, but I will see. What I'm most intrigued about the book, I mean, I'm intrigued to read the entire book because, one, it's not written by Marvel, because there is a coffee book that is written by Marvel.
The timeline, right. That looks amazing.
That one looks, it's a good, I think it's a good coffee book, probably.
Yeah,
but,
the official Marvel timeline.
A coffee table book, but...
this is a book.
This one also, it ends right after Ant-Man and the Wasp, so you're going to get, like, the highs and then the lows and all that. So it'll be interesting to read. Yeah,
so in that other book, I saw an article where in the intro, Kevin Feige says something along the lines of everything that's been on TV by all the separate things is canon in a multiversal sense, meaning like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Netflix shows, all that, and they may at some point converge. So he's thinking multiverse, Secret Wars, Battle World. That's what happened. It's all very interesting.
Yeah, there was a couple tidbits. There was like with James Cameron's Spider-Man movie. I think there was a quote in there that was either James Cameron or someone close to him said that's the best movie he never made.
Oh man, I would have loved to see the James Cameron Spider-Man movie. It kind of became that show with Jessica Alba a little bit. What was that called? Dark Angel?
A Dark Angel became Spider-Man?
He used some of the Spider-Man things in Dark Angel. I thought. But we went over that script once. I don't know if it was like on a bonus thing. It's a wild script. James Cameron.
Yeah, it was a weird ass script.
It's very strange.
Well, then there was Blade came out. So the reason they were releasing all these movies is because they were actually still just trying to push toys. Because the toy company bought Marvel.
Yeah, see, that never changes. That motivation.
It was literally. It was all just. It was like, okay, great, but do these sell toys?
Yeah, so that's why they keep changing the suits every movies. You can make new toys.
Well, no, but that was like the original intent of the movies,
okay.
To sell toys.
Okay.
Well, Toy Biz, Avi Arad was in charge of Toy Biz, so...
Yeah, Avi Arad had no filmmaking experience whatsoever.
That's amazing. But Marvel's been pulling that fucking move for years. The original Secret Wars wasn't just made to sell the fucking toys from Secret Wars. That was the whole motivation. They had a deal. Was it Kenner? And then He-Man did that. It goes back.
Well, I think that the crossover thing to sell the toys, I think that that's less egregious in comics because, like, people wanted the toys, right?
Yeah.
They were starving for the toys.
Yeah.
So I think they were just kind of like, okay, here's a whole thing where we can release toys regarding this particular story. But like Marvel's, like with Disney, they have a whole toy thing. And Avi Arad with Toy Biz, they were making ridiculous amounts of toys that were like so unnecessary. They were making like 1,000 Spider-Man figures. And they were like not even good. Yeah. They were like terrible. Now this is all jogging my memory of some interesting tidbits. When they were making the X-Men film, first off, they didn't know what they had, and the reason they decided to greenlight it is, or Fox decided to greenlight it, is they put the X-Men cartoon in primetime.
Okay.
And then it got really good ratings.
Oh, interesting.
And they're like, okay, now we can make an X-Men movie.
Wow.
But then when they were making the X-Men movie, Bryan Singer had no familiarity with comics whatsoever and didn't want his cast reading comics or anything. Like, didn't want them to know anything about the comics. But it was in there that Feige would like sneak them comics.
Yeah, he was
members.
Yeah, he was always the guy to like make it accurate to the comic books early on.
He was the guy that was like the encyclopedia, and they would like go to him for things.
Yeah.
But funny enough, now I'm remembering, Feige actually didn't grow up liking the comics. He grew up just being a big movie buff.
Oh.
But then once he got looped into the comics, then he like dove deep into the comics.
Oh shit!
But he didn't grow up liking it. It was more of it was in like he got into it as an adult.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Which I thought was interesting. I thought he was a lifelong comic.
This book, I can't wait to read it. This book, I mean, those are the kind of things that I want to know about, and the book sounds amazing. Another little thing in the book that's gotten out is this whole Brie Larson thing, saying that she grew disillusioned from the toxic backlash. Captain Marvel doesn't want to play Captain Marvel anymore. Could we see her?
She wants to take her ball and go home.
Yeah, could we see her writing them out, her exiting the role, just recast her? I don't think anybody's gonna mind as the Thing. So,
but isn't Kamala Khan gonna be sad that her favorite comic book character is not there anymore?
You'd have to recast her. She looks like this now. That's all. They used to do that all the time.
Oh, Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
they were like, this is the strongest Avenger. Remember all that hyperbole, and she was going to lead the team, and now it's like,
what is the coolest female character that they've done thus far? In your eyes, like either Marvel, DC, the one that works the best.
I mean, Black Widow's badass.
I was going to say once Black Widow got rolling, I thought she was pretty good.
Scarlet Witch has had a crazy journey.
Scarlet Witch peaked for me when the WandaVision stuff.
Yeah, sure.
That was when they had her at her best.
Okay.
Trying to think of who else. I mean everyone likes Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Yeah. MCU
Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I think you got to point to like an era, right? Because at some point when they do enough of these movies, they fuck up the character at some point. But there's like certain niches, certain pockets of time when the character's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, like the first Wonder Woman and like Black Widow in between Winter Soldier and like
Gamora and
Civil
Nebula,
War.
pretty badass.
Yeah.
Those are like blank characters though, right? They could just kind of do whatever.
And then you got like, has the Wasp really had an impact?
No.
Yeah.
No, the Wasp, if anything, they've like minimized that character.
She-Hulk is going to try to be a thing now.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Yeah,
but none of them have like any real like story that you can really get behind and grab onto the character.
Helen Slater, Supergirl, come on, we'll always have that. With all,
Daisy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't too bad.
Quake is great. So meanwhile, speaking of all this movie's tracking is actually, last week we mentioned
Jessica Jones. That was great.
Jessica Jones' first season is amazing.
I like Jessica Jones. Yeah.
Last season they were projecting 50 to 70 million or something, and this week it's gone up just a tiny bit. 75 to 80 million domestic debut for the Marvels.
You know what Brie Larson should do? She should just buy all the movie theaters.
Somebody's going to have to, because I don't know.
And give away the tickets to all her fans.
I don't know. We'll see how many people show up for this.
Well, 70, 80 is more than 50 to 60.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, post-pandemic, it's kind of decent, but for Marvel.
Not for a Marvel movie.
Yeah, not for a Marvel.
When's that come out?
November 10th, coming out very soon. There's a lot of trailers and clips. And I saw on our recent Discord, somebody mentioned that Marvel on Disney Plus has these little shorts they make called Marvel Legends. They're about 8 minutes long, and they tell you the whole history of one character in the MCU, just their timeline. Somebody said apparently they're going to play the legends before the movie for all three of the characters, which might be kind of helpful for some people.
But that's all three of them. That's a lot of minutes.
Now you're talking another 24 minutes, 30 minutes you're adding.
That's ridiculous.
Might be too much to add.
Like, do it in 3 minutes. And then you can do it maybe in 6 minutes.
6 minutes, maybe. You can't do it in 3 minutes for three characters. I mean, they're spending like 7-8 minutes per character it takes to get through these. But Anthony, would you want to see that? Of course, you know everything. So would it be annoying to have to sit through that before the Marvels?
Before a movie?
Before just the Marvels, that they play these shorts catching you up. It's like a previously on.
Sure, whatever. Look at that reaction.
Fine, moving on. Look, wait. I want to talk about the other article. The other article we talked about last week was that behind the scenes drama on the set of Aquaman 2 from Variety. And Variety just put out another article today. Interview with James Wan saying the narrative has gone a little crazy. It's not true. He's saying they probably did 7 or 8 days on this movie Reshoots, which is normal. Actually, not that much for a movie this size. So he's having a hard time just kind of seeing all these stories go around. But in this article, here's something I thought was really interesting. He tells Variety, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is his superhero spin on Tango and Cash. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
He wants to make, this is his buddy action comedy with Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson. How does that make you feel?
I did see that.
How does that make you feel? Well,
buddy cop film? I mean, sure.
But Tango and Cash, come on.
Which one of them is going to be Tango?
So, who was...
Yes, if you're going Tango and Cash...
Yeah.
That's a little odd, right? Because then you'd have to have like a homoerotic undertone.
They got to show their
be half brothers.
They got to show their butts to each other. That's what happens.
They got to see each other's butts.
So would Patrick Wilson's Orm be like the Sylvester Stallone, like the straight guy? And the other
you
one,
would think,
yeah.
Right?
And Momoa is Patrick
Momoa
Swayze.
would be more Swayze, not Swayze. What are you talking
Kurt
about?
Russell. Sorry, Patrick. I said Patrick Wilson. Momoa is Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, yes.
Jumping off the roof in the rain. Come on.
I fuck guys like you in prison.
Yeah, Tango and Cash is an amazing.
That's not Tango and Cash. That's Roadhouse. That's Swayze.
The last, literally, technically the last 80s movie coming out in December of 1989. Still fantastic. So, it's interesting. He said his first one, he wanted it to be like Romancing the Stone. This one, he wants to be like Tango and Cash. And all the behind the scenes shit is maybe not true. I don't know. Sounded kind of weird.
It did sound weird.
Yeah.
I was a little skeptical when you were reading all that stuff last week.
Yeah, but it was just fun to imagine.
You think that people just make this shit up? And
no,
then
Amber Heard was talking to her therapist. She didn't make her shit up. I don't know. It's weird that they got those documents. Anyways, that's coming out December. Also, something about that the octopus playing drums is going to be like a character. He's going to have more. I don't know. I saw something about that.
You'd be playing maracas.
He's going to be playing electric drum pads. It'll be EDM concert under the sea. It'd be fantastic. That's what they should do. You guys remember Squid Game? Remember the Squid Games?
Yeah.
You went right from octopus to squid.
Oh, look at that, Leo. That's a good segue. I didn't even play in that. Holy shit. I love it.
What kind of animals are they called?
Oh, they
invertebrate or something?
That's a good question. Squids
they are mollusks. They don't have vertebrae though. I know that.
Yeah, they don't have any kind of
mollusks. Squids are 300 species of 10-armed mollusks. I guess octopus have 8 arms and different.
Yeah, they have 10 tickles.
Did you just say? I guess octopus have 8 arms.
I mean, I'm not guessing. I'm.
Well, it's in the name octo.
Is that why they call it octopus?
They have 8 pusses.
I guess they got 8 pusses there.
Yeah, they got 8 pusses. They got octopusses.
I did say that. Why would I say? Why? And then,
anyway, squids have 10 tickles.
10 tickles.
I was going with 10 invertebrae. That's what they are.
Oh, okay. 10 testicles. Speaking of, so Squid Game, there's been they've been working on this live action reality game show for a long time on Netflix, and a trailer just came out for this game show, and holy shit, it's like you're in the fucking show. They got the same set, the same outfits.
Didn't Mr. Beast do this already, though?
He did it for real right away after the show came out. They're not going to get killed, of course, but they're playing red light, green light. The dudes in the red hoodies are there. They're only playing for like $4.5 million. I guess that's a lot. Well, I forgot what it was.
They're only $4.5 million.
No, wasn't it more on the actual TV show?
It was in won, but yeah, I don't know.
It was like 20 or 30 million.
It was something in won.
Yeah, but 20 million in won is like $30,000.
Anyways, that's a good point.
I don't know.
It runs us. Like,
I have no idea. I'm just trying to be funny.
This is a podcast of
firing off questionable things.
Yeah,
I guess octopus have 8 arms. Only $4.5
million. Is it
at one point reaction goes.
It looks like they're getting hit by paint guns instead of actual guns. I guess that's the right thing to do. You don't want to kill people.
It looks good.
Would you watch this? I'm kind of in already. It's no physical 100.
Not? There's no movies coming out.
That's a good point.
Yeah, at some point we're gonna have to watch shit, right? It looks like the challenge, but in a Squid Game setting, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it looks like they got all the games from the show and some new games. Of course, they're gonna have to add some new games. Reminds me, it's no physical 100. That show is fucking great. I want another season of that. But this is coming out November 22nd on the Netflix.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think you
check
mentioned this before on the show about this thing coming up, so I'm glad to see it's here.
I want to see how like balls to the wall it is.
If Imran says it's good, maybe I'll watch it.
Plus, I mean, the people, I guess they have an advantage. If they had watched the show and then signed up for this, they know kind of the strategy of these.
Well, the way they played it, I think they don't know that they're on this. I think what I was guessing is Netflix was signing people up for a reality show, and then they walk in and they're like, oh shit, it's Squid Game.
Okay, so if they make sure that nobody has seen Squid Game and then put them on.
No, it's not that they don't know.
Okay.
They've seen this. It's like that they didn't know they were walking into a Squid Game reality TV show.
Okay, but then if you've seen the show, you kind of know some of the strategy walking in. But
well, if you've seen the show, that's why you would have that reaction that we're having in the beginning, where they're like, "Oh shit!"
But they're wearing the green fucking jumpsuits already. That's not a tip off. I guess maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, seeing those guards there with the PlayStation buttons on their faces, just like the TV show, that's kind of.
Would you, if you were there, would you immediately start running and just being like, "Get me the fuck out of here! I'm not dying."
So,
would you think you would die?
So if that happened, what do you start with? Red light, green light, and then you see some people.
You think they don't tell you that you're going to die? They have to tell you you're not going to get killed. Right?
Sign a waiver.
You're gonna,
you know, on that fine print on that waiver, there's always a risk of death.
You could get hurt. Yeah, maybe you could get hurt.
We're not responsible.
I don't know. I would, like watching Physical 100. I go through this. Like, what would can I do this? I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Oh, Imran, can I do this? And you couldn't do any of that.
I could probably do more of the Squid Game things than the Physical 100. What would it be like to do this? You always put yourself. I'd probably run. I don't know. I tried to freeze in the first competition, but
you would be it would be easy to eliminate because you don't play the game.
I'm picturing this in my mind's eye, and it's just the greatest thing.
Well, you just don't play the game well. Like you wouldn't be able to lie. Like it's just you don't. There's no politics in you.
Emran will be using every fucking trick in the book.
No, I would lay back, let everybody run ahead of me, and then
the old guy, the old guy
in the show.
That's Imran. Yeah, except he would just use like empathy and sympathy, and then every once in a while he'll. Do a little strokey.
I would listen. I don't burn bridges anywhere, so I would just be friends with everyone, just in case someone down the line can use a favor or needs to do me a favor. You don't want to you got to be nice to everyone. See what happens.
Yeah. No, you are a nice guy. That's what I'm saying. Though. You might be too nice.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, someone would throw me under the bus, sure, and I don't know.
You just let the bus roll over you.
No, I'd be like, oh, that's cool.
What I got to do.
I could go home now and smoke a joint. Great, thanks. See you later. This has been a great time. Yeah.
Not able to smoke indoors over here. Glad to get out.
Cigs inside. Bring that back.
Yeah. You're a big Cigs inside
okay. Yeah. So I'm not on the Squid. Yeah, I am big Cigs inside. Listen, I fight for my rights.
Imran stays inside so he can do Cigs inside.
Should be able to smoke inside.
He'd rather smoke inside than outside.
Fuck that going outside. I could just do it here.
Yeah. Why go out in the open air?
I got a window.
And give my lungs a fighting chance.
Yeah, no, that's a waste of time.
I want all the air recycled into my lungs so they can look like burnt toast.
Oh, shit.
Popcorn. Anyway, Squid Game, November 22nd. Should be fun. Last thing in the news, you motherfuckers. Get through this.
Hey, you're the one who presents these opportunities.
All right, yes, that's a good point. I do walk right into these things. Well, I'm walking into this. I wanted to take a look at this weekend's box office update, movie box office update. Why? Two very interesting things going head to head. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour in its second week, and a Scorsese film. The Scorsese put out Killers of the Flower Moon. What happened? Taylor Swift beats Martin Scorsese.
Oh, shit.
Holy shit. Opening number one in week two, dropping only 64%. From week one, that movie made $33 million this weekend. It is now sitting at $132 million domestically, $178 worldwide. Killers of the Flower Moon opened. This is a $200 million, 3 hour and 26 minute movie.
That's almost holy shit.
R-rated, opened with only
3 hour and what?
3 hours and 26. 326. It's 3.5 hours. With the amount of trailers they show these days, this is a 4 hour commitment easily. Opens number two, $24 million.
Hey, I mean, at least it's not The Irishman. That was 3 minutes longer.
Yes, but that was on Netflix. You could break it up in chunks. Right. Here's the thing. I really want to see this movie. It is at 92% on the Rotten Tomatoes, I believe, right now.
Yeah, I heard it's good because I
heard it's very good.
Yeah.
The only issue is for me is I'm very long past the phase of Anthony Polanski.
Yeah, you're not
so
yeah, he realizes there's nothing to gain from that.
Yeah, there's really nothing to gain, and I just reading the first sentence in Wikipedia of Killers of the Flower Moon is a 2023 American epic revisionist Western crime drama film.
Whoa, it's a lot.
That's too many words.
There's a lot of things he's doing there.
I'm not watching.
Well, so here's the thing: this movie's made by Apple TV. I have no doubt it's going to be available to stream.
It's probably
very soon. I'll wait till it's on streaming where I can break it up. It probably is awesome. Been getting great reviews. I want to see it, but there's no fucking way. I'm not doing 3 hour, 26, 4 hours right now. Sorry, Scorsese.
Yeah, I'd rather watch evil white people from the comfort of my own home instead of being in a theater.
I love all these stories that people on Twitter are like, "Oh, Scorsese's gone woke and stuff." He's always been political. All of his movies are kind of about evil white people, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So
are they?
It's history. Yeah, if you think about it.
Yeah.
There's bad white people.
Yeah. But this is.
I don't think he's like saying.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, you got. Yeah.
No, he was like, these people are evil, but like they're also like interesting.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But now this is more like this guy's evil.
This is historical.
So,
it's historical fiction revisionism. Scorsese.
What is your favorite Scorsese film?
Oh,
now, you got to name one. Imran.
It's just Goodfellas for me.
Goodfellas. Okay. Imran, what about you?
He took mine. Hold on.
You got Casino
favorites.
You got
mine's The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Taxi Driver's pretty fucking great. I was gonna say Goodfellas too.
There you go. You could say Goodfellas.
Yeah, because that is all time.
It's entertaining.
It's an all time great fucking movie.
Funny like a clown. Funny how.
So quotable. So influential. But he's done so many things.
He's done so many good movies. What would be your runner up?
Well, there's Departed. That won the Oscar.
I like Departed. Shutter
That's
Island.
a good one.
Shutter Island's pretty fun.
Raging Bull.
No Love for Kadoom.
I mean, you got Gangs in New York.
No, not Kadoom.
We mentioned Casino. He did Michael Jackson's Bad video. That might be actually my favorite. That's my second.
Do the Bad video?
It's like a 10-minute video of Wesley Snipes in the beginning, and then the whole video part, and like there's extra story. It's fucking great. Yes, he directed the Bad video for Michael Jackson. Cape Fear is also fucking fantastic.
Gangs of New York, Age of the Innocents,
Last Temptation of Christ, Color of Money. I mean, it's all King of Comedy, Raging Bull. It's all hits, really.
It's all bangers.
The Aviator is really good too. It's bangers.
Well, he's one of the last of the those from that era, right? That started up in the 70s. Wasn't it like him, Coppola?
I mean, Spielberg was
Lucas,
there.
Spielberg.
Yeah.
Right, and Roman Polanski.
Roman Polanski. Anyways, he can't beat Taylor Swift, though, this day and age. I think it's just a little too much to ask for some people right now. But it's going to be on streaming. Catch it all up there. All right, let's take a quick break here, play some promos, and we're going to come back and talk about the 80s, nostalgia, and lots of monsters right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
What's up? This is Brian, and I'm the host of Citizens of Pawnee, a Parks and Recreation podcast. That's right, a podcast dedicated to my favorite TV show, Parks and Rec. Every week I discuss my favorite things about the show, which include character breakdowns, episode rewatches, and other random facts and tidbits about the show. You can find me on Instagram at Citizens of Pawnee Podcast and listen wherever you get your podcast now. You will literally love it.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy this show, you should check out our awesome fan club over on Patreon. Check out jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
You can give back, support the show. We appreciate everyone's continued support. It really helps keeping the show going, coming out every week. And you get things like an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early, bonus content, instant reactions. You can join us for our monthly Discord hangout. We just had one last week for last month's hangout. It was a lot of fun. Always a good time. The next one will be Thursday, November 16th. It's the Thursday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, join us. It's great to get to know the fans. It's great. I love talking to them.
We love hearing from you guys.
I'm not going to be there for that one. I'm just telling you right now.
All right, fine.
I'm going to be out of town.
I appreciate your appearance at the last one.
He's been at a couple. So
yeah, whenever Anthony pops in, it's always a treat. There's also a tier where you can pick any movie for us to watch and review. Lots of fun stuff. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Check it out. Okay, this week's movie review. Last week, we're doing Dealer's Choice here. Last week was my pick. This week,
but we're doing Dealer's Choice in comedy, right? Is that the gist here?
Sure. Yeah,
because that's kind of been the theme
thus
far.
That's the theme so far.
And potentially might do a comedy tournament.
Yes. So we're doing comedy host picks. For our second pick, it was Rug Boy, and Rug Boy has picked for us the 1987 horror comedy, The Monster Squad. Here's your spoiler alert, so it doesn't make any sense.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
It's a force of habit. The Monster Squad on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie, 56% for the critics, 5.7 out of 10, 78% audience rating, though. The movie was made for $14 million. And the reason why you may not have heard of this or this slipped by you is because it was kind of a big bomb at the box office, only making $3.8 million, pulled out of the theaters. The problem was, it's 1987. The Lost Boys had just come out a week before. The rating on this may have been an issue. It's PG-13. However, it does gain a cult following in the last 20 years, especially as VHS came out, as it shows up on cable, as DVD, exclusive DVD sets have been coming out. We'll get into all of that. But initially, big box office flop and kind of critical flop for the movie. Monster Squad is directed by Fred Decker and written by Fred Decker and Shane Black. Yes.
Black and Decker.
It's written by Black and Decker. That Shane Black, who wrote this, they were all, I guess they used to hang out at this apartment called the Pad of Guys, and it was a lot of up-and-coming screenwriters and people writing screenplays. And Shane Black wrote this while writing and selling Lethal Weapon the same year. So he gets a big payday. Creature effects in this movie by the legendary Stan Winston and Company. You guys know Stan Winston. What are a couple of things he's done?
The Predator.
The Predator, which incidentally also came out this year, 87.
Yeah, There's a relationship between what happened in this movie and the Predator.
There certainly is. Stan Winston also famous for Terminator, Jurassic Park, The Thing, Iron Man, lots of other things. Edward Scissorhands, just fucking legend creature effects guy. You
want to hear the quick? Let's do a top 10. But domestic box office in 87?
Oh, yes. Let's see. It wasn't
just
this movie.
For context.
Yes.
Just for context. No, but this movie's not in the top 10.
Well, it's not this movie.
For context, the number one release of that year, Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Oh, nice. Oh, 2.
Number 2 is Platoon. 3, Fatal Attraction.
Oh.
4, The Untouchables. 5, 3 Men and a Baby. 6, The Secret of My Success. 7, The 7 Stakeout. 8, Lethal Weapon. 9, The Witches of Eastwick. And rounding out the top 10 is Predator.
That's a pretty good year for movies.
RoboCop, 14th. Dirty Dancing, 16.
Also in 87. Holy shit, a lot of good shit.
What a great year.
24. 26, The Golden Child.
What a great year, man. Eddie Murphy.
29, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I'm going to stop.
What a great year for movies.
35, The Princess Bride.
Man, there are years in the 80s and 90s where just one year, it's just solid. You don't see
classics. Yeah.
You don't see that kind of diversity anymore. I miss it.
No.
I miss it. So that's great context. This thing makes $3.8 million, gets yanked out of theaters. Anthony, had you ever seen this before?
No, I literally finished the movie 10 minutes before we were about to start.
Oh, great. Also, another great thing about this movie, it's not even 90 fucking minutes long. This movie is 82 minutes long.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's an easy breeze.
PG-13, 82 minutes. Anthony, first time watching, what happens in The Monster Squad?
Well, this is about a group of preteens that really enjoy the Universal monsters and are been prepping for the day when these monsters may exist. And that day has come, and they are the only ones that know how to deal with these monsters who want to end the world, led by Dracula.
Yeah, it is a teenage wish fulfillment fighting monster saving the world. Ruggs, let's start with you. It's your pick. Tell me your history with this movie. Why'd you pick it?
Oh, I remember seeing this as a kid. I don't know. It was 1987, so I might have been like in like 6th grade or something. So I'm like right around the same age as these kids that were in this movie, and I think I was more like the guy with the bike and who's smoking cigarettes.
Oh, you were the Rudy in the group?
Yeah. I was more like that guy. But like horny, looking for chicks and stuff. But yeah, this movie tickled me. I think I saw it on HBO or rented the VHS, or maybe I don't think I ever saw it in the theater, but I knew I saw it like as soon as it came out. And I just it reminds me of my childhood. Now, this movie is actually what made me like Universal Monsters, because I wasn't a big fan of the Universal Monsters that much, because they were black and white movies. There was like old guys playing them, and I never liked the werewolf thing. Like there was this. I'm gonna go off tangent for a second, but when I was a kid, in our library there were these orange books that had all of the monsters in them. Godzilla was one of them. King Kong was one of them. Dracula. And I used to take those books out all the time when I was a little kid. And fucking love those books. And I never had the wherewithal to sit through the black and white movies because they were so talky, right? But this movie had all of those monsters in there and made them terrifying. Like Dracula was a badass. Like he walks through a bunch of policemen and like takes them down.
Yeah, without even looking at him.
Yeah, like a fucking G. And like
Terminator.
The werewolf was fucking scary, and fucking he had some crazy powers. Like even though he got kicked in the nuts and like that took him down. But like there was like, yeah, it was a silly movie. I feel like they cut this movie down like really, really to make it like kid digestible, because they don't explain a lot. They just kind of, it's an 80s movies thing where they just expect you to just go with it.
A lot of questions, yes, and then they just move on.
But I fucking loved this movie when I was a kid, and every time I watch it, I feel like I'm a kid again. When I watch it every Halloween, and it still holds up to me. It still holds up to me as a movie that's entertaining. It's easy to watch. The practical effects on the monsters are great. Like the suits, like this suit that they used in this movie to make the Gill Man,
that suit's really good.
Was what the laid the groundwork for Predator. Yeah. Like they saw some of the like what they did with the mouth and how they had to seal them into the suit and everything.
Yeah, it was one piece foam body suit.
So the Predator, the same guys that did the Predator, and they did it in the same year.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that was going on. Like even the Air Blast, like American Werewolf in London had this great like transformation, but they had a pretty decent, for a kid's movie, they had a pretty like graphic transformation too, where he's like foaming at the mouth and then his hands are pulsating and all that stuff.
I mean, it reminds me, of course, of the Michael Jackson Thriller video, which was also like came out earlier. That was an amazing transformation.
There was some cool art direction in the movie. The sets were kind of fun. Like, you know, like I feel like it overall, I still like this movie. Even though I know that there's a lot of fucking weird ass, like nonsensical shit going on, I still think it's a pretty good movie, and I still enjoy it. I think it's a great Halloween movie.
I didn't read the cast before, Anthony. I want to ask you what you thought, but basically you have this dude, Andre Gower, as the lead kid, Sean, Robbie Krieger as Patrick. A couple, I don't know, Duncan Rager plays Count Dracula, Tom Noonan plays Frankenstein's monster, Brent Shalom as Horace, Ryan Lambert as Rudy, Ashley Bank as Phoebe. There is a young Michael Faustino here playing the little kid Eugene. Faustino, of course. Where do you see him next, Ruggs?
What? I don't know.
Michael Faustino, Married with Children.
No, that's Dave's brother. It's his brother.
Oh, that's
older.
his brother?
Yeah, David Faustino.
David was Bud. Wasn't Michael?
Yeah, Bud Bundy.
It wasn't Michael Faustino?
No, that was his younger brother.
I recognize the. Okay,
you dumbass.
So again, podcast of inaccurate facts. We've already established this. And then,
well, you don't really hear Faustino very often. So
but you do have Jason Hervey, who played the big brother in Wonder Years as the bully EJ.
Yeah.
Anthony, watching this for the first time, what'd you think?
Oh man, I didn't know what to expect. That's for sure. I will say I am a big fan of the Universal monsters. I watched all those movies as a kid, and I ate them up. I know they're probably, if I go watch them again, they're probably super boring. They're not scary. I just loved the Universal monsters. So even though I don't have any history with this movie, anytime you can wrap up all the Universal monsters in a movie, it gets me a little excited. Puts a little tingly feeling in my sphincter.
Whoa.
I don't know why I said that. I stick it up my asshole. Yeah. And so watching this movie, I'll tell you this. There's a lot of fucking shit that makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah. Like, why is the mummy in the kid's closet for no reason?
That was one of my questions.
Why is the mummy in the kid's closet?
Doing there?
How does Dracula just know how to drive an invisible car?
Where does he get dynamite from? Why does he need the dynamite?
I think I can explain something.
All right, go on.
But there's like the monsters just show up in different places, but don't do anything. Like the Gill Man shows up with the little girl or behind the kid.
Yeah,
doesn't like attack him.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of weird shit, right?
Yeah.
That being said, I loved the movie. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great.
I was saying, I told Amber before the show,
we predicted.
Like, he's gonna hate this movie.
Oh no, I thought it was great.
Oh my god,
I thoroughly enjoyed the entire movie. I was laughing at a lot of points. You can tell the movie is super cut up.
Yeah.
So there's that, but I don't think they dumbed it down for kids. I mean, there's swearing. They're talking about the virgins.
There's some violent shit.
It's not dumbed down. I think it was more. I think it was too terrifying for the PG-13. Like there was scenes that got cut out. Dustin Diamond from Saved by the Bell was supposed to be in this movie.
Screech was supposed to be in this. I did not know that.
Yeah, he got edited out.
Oh shit!
So there's like quite a few scenes that are edited out, but to my knowledge, let me try and make this movie make sense. So Van Helsing goes to try and get this amulet away from Dracula because Dracula's waiting for the day that he can destroy it.
Right.
Because that's the only thing that could stop him from taking over the fucking world with his evil. All right. So Van Helsing goes and he does this thing, but Dracula's nowhere around. I think that one of the scenes that cut out was like Dracula was like out like with his bride somewhere, like they were dealing with some guy out in the village, and so he wasn't there. So he wasn't there to get sucked into the vortex. So Van Helsing fucked up. Anyhow,
I was like wondering, just in that point, I was like, wait, Van Helsing fucked up. He didn't get him. So why didn't Dracula take over the world then? But I guess he wasn't there.
They didn't explain that. But no, the amulet still exists. Yeah. The amulet still existed, I guess. So, anyway, the amulet still existed, and then some guy in America like got all this shit because he was going to be the next Van Helsing, and that's why he had the big scary house with the fucking secret passage. He was hiding it from Dracula all these years, and now when the guy dies and like his estate becomes public, then Dracula goes to that town, which happens to be where the kids are living. But that's a big.
It's once every 100 years.
And how does he know the kids have the amulet?
Well, yes.
No, he doesn't. He knows that the guy has the amulet.
No,
the guy who
but
died.
At some point he's like, "I'm coming for your." Like he calls. There's a message left on the kids.
I think
wall.
that there's a scene where you see Dracula when he flies down, like. He's by the treehouse, and he's like you can see his cape, and then they pan to the treehouse. So he knows that the kids are have something to do with it. Like the mom got the book, right? So He knows where the amulet is. It's in the house.
Oh, that's right.
A lot of mental gymnastics to get through 15 minutes of the first of the movie.
But I'm just saying, like, they're it's not as random as you think. There's a little bit of like a through line there, but like, yeah, they don't explain any of it, and you have to do mental gymnastics to make that plot make sense. But like the kid, like the guy, whoever guy dies in the old house with the secret passage that has the amulet in it. The mom somehow goes to a garage sale and gets this book.
And then that's how he knows, because of the book.
Yes.
But also, they don't explain how, like, the wall is smashed open and they didn't get the amulet. Apparently, the things in there were stopping the monsters from entering.
Yeah.
There's like...
He smashed open the wall. He's like, oh, there it is.
I was like, why didn't Dracula just grab it? Well, he left it there. What's he doing?
Yeah. There is, like, I feel like there's gaping holes in this movie, but
somewhere it's explained like there's things that are warding off evil in that room, so they needed the kid to get the amulet, and then he can.
No, it's not explained.
It's not. I don't know. I read somewhere that was this. I don't know where I saw.
Well, there's
it.
like a documentary about this movie.
Oh yes, we're gonna mention that. I watched that also. It's fantastic. It's called Wolfman's Got Nards. One of the best lines in the whole movie. And it's made by the guy, by Sean, Andre Grower, and Rudy and Phoebe are in it. We'll get to that, but first, here's my brief history with this movie, because I was not into monsters at that age. Really, it was mostly like comic books.
What were you into?
So at like through 11 to 13 or that, it was like comic books and like, I don't know, toys, G.I. Joe, Michael Jackson, absolutely pop music.
Prince.
And then I got into hip hop hardcore at like 13. And it was just like hip hop and comics was the thing I was into. So this movie, because it only made $3 million, it wasn't in the theaters long, really slipped by me. It slipped by me when it made it to VHS. It slipped by me when it made it to HBO, which is where a lot of people saw it in the 80s. We didn't have HBO. It wasn't until a few years ago, because of Rug Boy constantly mentioning it, that I watched it, and I watched it again, like only for the second time. And it grows on me. It is absolutely like an 80s cult classic and nostalgia hit. It's goofy. It's fun.
Well, do you know in that, not how 80s it is, like literally this movie's tied to so many other movies. Like, you know, the house that Sean lives in?
Yeah.
Is literally across the street from Murtaugh's house from Lethal Weapon.
Really?
That whole like street where it curves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same house.
So in the scene where Dracula goes to the kid's house and burns it down, a treehouse, you can see Murtaugh's house in the background.
Oh my God. Not only that, it's so Goonies is the other thing. It wants to be Goonies. The mom.
Oh, it reminds me a lot of Goonies.
Sean's mom is the same mom in fucking Goonies. That was the mom in
it's the
Goonies.
same Goonies
They have the
mom.
same characters, right? Like the leader, the smart mouth kid, the chubby funny kid, the monster that befriends them. They got the same archetypes in this fucking movie. But I love in this one, it's a little bit edgier. Like, you got little kids swearing. There's a couple of problematic fucking language that everyone used in the 80s. There's like body shaming and slut shaming. It's fantastic. Fat Kid is easily my favorite character.
Yeah, he's the best
in the whole movie.
Dude, he kicks Wolfman in the nutsack.
Yeah, great lines.
Pick him in the nards.
He
Wolves
fucking
don't have
saves
nards.
Sean with the garlic pizza.
Yeah, how much garlic was on that
the garlic
pizza?
pizza.
It burned fucking. We just eating garlic pizza.
But you had Rudy and Fat Kid were the two best characters.
Phoebe,
in
Which
the
one's
movie.
Rudy?
Rudy was the rebel,
The cool kid who
older
like
kid. Yeah.
There's another question right there.
Yeah, I can answer this
Why
one.
the fuck is Rudy hanging out?
So he
with
can,
because he wants to see the girl.
yeah, he can peep on Eugene's sister.
Is that? But did he know before he got in the treehouse that was the girl? Like, I don't think he did. It's never implied that he knew.
No,
he even says that's your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I think they should have left that line out, because then you could imply that he did know and he was totally using it.
Yeah.
But they didn't want him to come across as an asshole. Because like the minute that you put that line, you take that line out, you're like, oh, he's totally using them to get to see this naked girl.
Right. So now because it's not told that, or we don't have a strong implication that he's using them. It's just like, wait a minute, why is this teenager hanging out with 10 and 11
Because he's
year olds?
kind of like a weird teenager.
Yeah,
he's like a guy, he's wearing like 50s clothes.
Yeah, he's
But
like a
it's
greaser.
very much established in that opening shot of him saving the fat kid that he's like the coolest guy there.
He's the coolest guy there, and he felt bad for
Everyone,
Fat Kid.
all the cool preteens are afraid of him. Like, everyone's just like, oh man, look at him. Like they pan up on him Like he's the fucking Fonz.
Yeah. He's the rebel cool kid.
But it's like, why
guy.
is he hanging out with these kids?
But he kind of knows about monsters, and he just wants to make silver bullets and steaks and wood shop. It's an amazing training montage. I also love how I love in this movie how they just cut to an airplane. Just out of nowhere, and you're like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who's this?" And fucking Dracula's
an airplane
there.
just randomly carrying all this.
Yes, right above
with
them.
the word Frankenstein written
on a
in
crate.
white lettering.
What is Frankenstein doing in this box? What is going on? And then
why does this plane all of a sudden have Frankenstein, the Gill Man, and Dracula on it? And what is it doing traveling to? Where do you think? Where do you think?
I
this
think
is
the Gill
located?
Man was just in the bog waiting.
The Gill
for them.
Man just happened to be there where it landed.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So it's all very convenient.
The mummy.
And where do you think this is? Like Denver? Like this is probably what, somewhere in Colorado?
Oh, I don't even know where this would be.
I would say with the swamps and the bayous and the Victorian house, I would say somewhere maybe like in Alabama or something like that. But like,
so there was just this
Louisiana.
plane from Germany to Louisiana.
I love the guy.
Well, Interview with a Vampire takes place in Louisiana.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, that's true.
So like, there is a vampire like.
No, there is like a voodoo, like horror vibe down in the bayou.
Yeah. So, and there's a swamp. There's a swamp monster. So I don't know. I'm making all these leaps, but it could be New Jersey for all.
I loved when the little kid is like, "Do you know any virgins?" to Rudy, and he like spits out his fucking
know any virgins? Yeah.
And then later on, when they're interrogating the sister, he's like coughing. He's like, "Who do you know? Are you?
Have you ever been dorked? They use dork a lot.
Yes, you ever been dorked?
And then the payoff is so great that she reads it, and then it doesn't work,
She's
and
not
they're
a
like,
virgin.
"You're not a virgin."
That's amazing.
He doesn't count. Doesn't count.
And then they go to the little 5-year-old girl. They're like, "Oh, she's 5. She's got to be a virgin."
And the old man just like, "Yeah, that's a virgin."
But what about the scary German guy? He came in the clutch.
He's great. Every movie's got to have one of those characters, like Home Alone, the guy you don't know and you're afraid, but actually helps you out at the end.
But the scary
when you
German
find
guy's
out he's
he's great, but then it's like they do the thing where it's like he's got a dark past. Like you see the
also he's a Holocaust survivor.
Concentration camp.
Yes, it just happens.
Oh, okay.
They just threw
He's
that.
like,
in.
I know about monsters.
Yes.
Right.
They just threw that in. I was like, "Whoa, that took a turn." All right.
It's pretty deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Took a turn.
But and I love there's so many there's just great lines like Phoebe going, "Don't be chicken shit." I love they got kids too young
Phoebe the
swearing.
Phoebe.
Phoebe the Phoebe is great.
It's okay, you guys. He's friends with us.
I love Frankenstein.
Come on, don't be chicken shit.
Frankenstein was the best.
Frank hanging out with them was fantastic.
He was like, he was so mad that he was a Halloween costume.
That's a great little scene there when he holds up the mask and is like puts it down. You're like, oh, you kind of feel bad for him.
The guy who plays Frankenstein is the guy from Last Action Hero who was wearing the raincoat.
Tom,
yes, it's that same actor.
Yeah, Tom Noonan. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like that giant dude in that movie. So
he is 6'5".
Yeah.
Oh man, fat kid farted. It's another great line. Wolfman's got nards. It's such a classic line in that documentary. You learn Adam Goldberg, right, who wrote and created the Goldbergs. They cut a clip together of all the time they used the word nards on that show, and it was like 20 times. Because of this movie, he wrote the word nards into Goldbergs like almost every episode. There's weird shit like Dracula's got just teenage girls locked in the closet.
How badass is Rudy though? Like he makes the stakes. He gets the bow and arrow. Mm-hmm. Then he gets 3 of the
he stakes those the vampire girls,
those 3 fucking vampire chicks
in the heart,
and then he has the ultimate fucking he gets the silver bullet into the gun and he goes bang and he fucking kills the guy. Fucking that's fucking epic for like a little kid. Imagine you're like 11 years old and you see that.
I mean,
it's fucking epic.
The effects, the costumes are great. Like Wolfman,
really good effects.
Wolfman getting blown apart and coming back together. That's great. The mummy's effects on the truck as he's unraveling, also great.
What does he say to the Wolfman before before he puts the dynamite in his crotch?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, he's like he calls him an asshole or something.
No, that was the father, didn't it? The father put the dynamite in his crotch?
Yeah, but he says something to make him turn around.
Yeah, and he hits him on the head with him. Oh. And then, of course, the classic moment at the end when fucking Fat Kid has the shotgun, blows away the Gill Man, and they're like, "Fat Kid, you saved us." He turns around and just goes, My name is Horace. Click clacks.
Remember when we were doing like college movies? We would do something like that. We would do the click clack. Yeah, that was crazy.
Dracula calls the little girl a bitch to her face. So also in the documentary, you find out there was a lot of things they didn't tell the kids that were going to happen to get real reactions. They kind of traumatized them. So when she's screaming like that, she's reacting to him calling her a bitch. She did not know that was going to happen. A lot of the screams are real, but there's a lot of times where monsters pop up and they don't scream and then they start screaming later. It's kind of weird. It falls in line with the great 80s movies that featured kids in them. You remember? That's another thing I love about 80s movies is they had so many of these where you at that age were the star, like Goonies.
No, this is definitely, yeah. I'll say this. I enjoyed watching this more than I watched liking the Goonies.
Really? Well, it had the monsters in there for you. I could see that.
Yeah, I think the monsters. I think this one's also more...
a little edgier.
Edgier, yeah. That
a little sexier.
Yeah. You know, they're fucking peeping on the girl. It's just a little bit. I mean, Goonies also, when you look back at it, also has some things you go, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But this one has more pushing the line a little bit more.
This one they didn't give a fuck.
But there's a lot of little bit stuff that's in here. Like you got the parents getting the divorce.
Yeah. Backstory.
The relationship with the dad. Yeah. The dad comes home with the fucking fast food and goes on the roof and hangs out with his son.
Yeah, watching the drug movie. That was a nice little scene.
There are layers to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is some like it's not just there is some like bad 80s stuff where like they don't explain anything and you have to like why is the mummy in the house?
Why was the mummy in the closet? He was just at the swamp.
Dracula told him to go kill all the kids and he got found out by the dad and he just left. I don't know.
I love that the kid looks away and then the mummy is like super slow, but then all of a sudden the kid looks away and then the next shot
out the window.
The toilet paper out the window. It's like, oh, he just ran out.
I loved all the Marvel posters in the background everywhere. The guy had a Hulk wallpaper.
There's a couple of Godzillas in there. Godzilla posters in there.
That little kid Eugene had a Punisher poster in his room. I was like, I don't know how appropriate that is, but I guess back in the day, yeah, you were 7 years old. You're into the Punisher. Those little touches were great. They had to tweak all the designs back to the creatures because of the Universals. Universal didn't want people to confuse it.
Yeah, so Universal was supposed to be involved with this. Then they pulled out.
Yeah, and so
when they got to the production phase, they had to change all the designs to make them not look like the Universal mods.
They had to. They couldn't be exactly.
They tweaked them just enough,
like the board.
Well, all of them are public domain. Because like Universal doesn't own those monsters; those are all owned by they're separate.
Right,
they're all public.
They
domain,
own that version, like the Boris Karloff version, and the
right.
Yeah. Apparently, Liam Neeson almost played Dracula, almost got the role as Dracula, but
oh my god, how weird was that?
It went to this guy who was I
mean,
really
that dude's a giant Dracula. He's bigger than fucking. He's as tall as fucking Frankenstein. So
yeah, I had. This might be surprising, but I had a smile on my face the entire movie. I liked it way more than Swingers.
Get out. It was a fun movie. Wow.
Once the montage started, I was fully in. Yeah, I was fully
great
in.
Great 80s montage. So in this documentary is wild because this movie kind of went away for a while. It comes out on VHS and HBO picks it up, and a lot of kids remember seeing it then. But then in 2006, Eric Vespi from Ain't It Cool News wants to do a cast reunion and screen the movie like at the Alamo one time. And this one guy, he gets to pitch in and take a risk on it. The fucking screening sells out. He has to add a second date. And in the last 20 years, this movie has grown a huge cult following. They've taken the movie to all the Alamo Draft House to show it. There's like a 5-disc DVD that came out 20 years after this movie came out. In fact, this year they're putting out like a 4K Blu-ray restored,
and it's gonna have the documentary on it. I think,
probably with the documentary behind the scenes. There, this movie is huge now. The sad bit you learn in the documentary is, like I said, the guy playing Rudy and Phoebe and Sean, who's actually made the documentary, go around. They get to meet fans. Bad kid Horace, played by Brent Challam. Unfortunately, he dies of pneumonia in 1997. He was only 22. He got pneumonia, and then there was like a weird misdiagnosis in the emergency room, and they gave him something. He had asthma. and he passed away, which is so it's
they probably gave him prednisone.
And it's just sad that he doesn't also, get to see how huge the Monster Squad is. There's collectors that buy everything Monster Squad. It had a really bad marketing strategy. Like they had these wanted posters that were black and white drawings of the monsters, and it didn't even look like the Dracula from the movie. Nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
So it didn't find its audience until way later.
No, it didn't. But like, I think that once in the movies, it's hard to sell something that's PG-13 because I think
that was a problem. Yes,
there was like Indiana Jones had the ripping out the heart thing.
Yeah,
and a lot of parents were like, "Oh, PG-13, they just do crazy shit. I'm not bringing my kids to a PG-13 movie."
So Lost Boys that come out and that was like R-rated. So you had stuff for the older kids, and this was pitched to maybe the wrong audience. But
it was too like if you were an older kid, you were not going to go watch this movie. But even though like
you were going to watch Lost Boys,
yeah, you're going to watch a sexy man with a saxophone. But I think that also contributed to the fact that it didn't do well. The commercial was terrible.
Yeah, the marketing was not great. But I was the same age as these kids when this came out, and I loved this whole wish fulfillment. Jump on your bike with your friends, have an adventure.
Yeah, I just remember like I watched. The 80s and the 90s were the time where you had practical effects. And I just remember my friends who were really into horror films going, like, I like this kid movie because the effects are so good. And they're like, I remember watching it. One of my friends, he's like, look at this bat at the beginning of this movie.
The bat transformation
into
the bat. It's really good in the beginning.
And this is years before that Francis Ford Coppola did it in the Dracula movie, which was also amazing. So yeah, there was like all these things that were like really cool. And even the Wolfman, like it's a unique Wolfman. It's not like the Lon Chaney Wolfman. Yeah. It's not like the fucking other Wolfman that you see from like Howling.
The phone booth scene is pretty great. That transformation is pretty great.
Yeah, and that guy ends up being in Napoleon Dynamite's older brother or something, isn't it? The uncle.
Oh, the guy who played the Wolfman?
Yeah, the guy who played the Wolfman. He's like in Napoleon Dynamite who eats all the steaks. The guy who lives in the trailer.
Carl Thibault played the Wolfman.
Yeah.
Tom Woodruff Jr. played the Gillman. He actually was one of the special effects creature guys who worked on the other ones and then got to play Gillman and be put in that suit. And like you said, it was revolutionary because usually it would be different pieces, but this thing had no seams. It was a one piece.
He had to wear that. He had to wear it for 12 hours or 14 hours a day.
Once he was in, he could not get out. It was a little claustrophobic.
Yeah. Wow.
But he does a good job. And the mouth reminded me a lot of Predator. Watching it again,
the whole entire suit, the way that they did the latex over his entire body was how they did the Predator suit.
Why does Dracula need dynamite? Can you answer that question? Where did he get the fucking dynamite?
I mean, he's Dracula. He's rich. He's a fucking.
What was he doing for 100 years? Waiting,
just chilling out, like partying. Yeah. He's just Dracula.
You'll notice Sean is wearing this red shirt that says Stephen King rules on it. That is because it had the book just published and a lot of similarities to it as well. I don't know which inspired which.
Well, they just wanted you to know that
that's Stephen King,
a big horror fan.
Yeah.
But I feel like Stranger Things bit a little bit off this movie. There's like I feel like that it is like a Goonies. It is like an 80s throwback. It is an ode to like monsters in general. They do name drop Godzilla, I think, at one time.
Also,
in
they
here.
have all the accurate lore and rules, right? That everybody knows, and they establish the rules when the guy translates the book. Like, it sticks to its rules.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think they should remake this movie?
That's what I was going to ask. Okay, I was going to ask this because in 2010, Michael Bay was going to reboot this movie.
Oh, no, not Michael Bay.
It fell apart. Now, do you make a sequel a la It with the kids grown up? And what they're doing now, or do you reboot this movie, or do you not touch it?
I feel like I dance between the two because this one exists and it's amazing. And I don't think they could do lightning in a bottle twice, but I feel like why not try at least? Because everybody's trying to do this Universal Monsters thing, and this is the perfect way to do it. But you'd have to kill them all at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I think this is actually a movie ripe for a remake because while the movie is its own thing, and some would say it's like a classic in its own right. There's a lot of problems with the movie.
Yeah.
And I think if you this one's actually worth another shot.
Clean it up a little.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
And I think you could even have fun with like the modern era of how kids are now.
Yeah.
And like throw them into like a throwback. I think there's actually a lot to mine with all the TikTok stuff and all that shit.
Or what if it's like a kid, like present day kids, and they're just obsessed with the 80s and they get caught in this thing and it involves monsters. So you don't want to see like them growing up and their kids have to fight the monsters.
The dichotomy of this movie, which is interesting because like the 80s was a new horror genre. Like you had Freddy, you had Jason, you had Child's Play.
Yeah.
So you had all of this like uprising. You had like Clive Barker and all that other stuff. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So you had all of this uprising of new horror, right? Yeah. And this was like old horror coming back, but like old horror coming back with all of the new tools and whistles and all the bells and whistles that they had. I mean, you had like Stan Winston, like the top guy working on this movie.
That's a big get. That's a big get for this movie, Stan.
So to sit there and make those guys, make Dracula like a badass again, like taking fucking cops out and shit.
I mean, if they can get Universal involved, I think there is some potential here in that remake idea. I do like that idea. And you can get some sick effects and see how modern day kids react to all this.
Like the way you could do it is you change the properties of the amulet to be more like a portal, and all of the monsters from the past come into the future. And it's funny because you have all of these kids that are into horror movies, but they've never actually witnessed like actual monsters. Yeah. And it'd be funny to do that.
It would be funny to like pull them and try to get some people that look as close as possible to those 1930s, 40s actors and actresses.
Yeah. Oh.
And then had them like look like that.
Oh.
So they get pulled in here. Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
They tried to do it with Van Helsing, and it was like a wet fart. Yeah.
Van Helsing, though, was trying to be like a big budget. Like he was trying to create a franchise as like this big budget action franchise thing. And no, I mean, I thought it was cool as a teenager, but that didn't go over well.
I prefer this movie to the Van Helsing.
Oh yeah,
even though Van 100%. Helsing is a good action movie, but it's equally just as stupid as this movie. So
it's also a super CGI fest.
Yeah,
Van Helsing.
I mean, it does have Kate Beckinsale in it, which makes all the reason to watch it. But still, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. I mean, I think that movie has a lot to do with Monster Squad too. Van Helsing. All the Universal monsters. There's a lot of commonality with all that with this movie. So I think they maybe should remake it, kind of, but I think it exists it's on its own as a classic. It's a great Halloween movie.
It is absolutely great Halloween watch to throw in every year.
So we've never all three of us like been like this enthused about a old movie.
Not since Roadhouse.
Yeah, Roadhouse was like, but this is like another Roadhouse. This might be the Roadhouse. Yeah. This might be the Roadhouse of the fucking comedy.
It's like the Roadhouse of like kid comedy movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Goonies meets Universal Monsters. And all right, Ruggs, let's wrap it up. Give me your final thoughts. Give it a rating.
Oh, I love this movie. It's a great Halloween movie. It's part of my childhood. Whenever I watch it, I feel like a little kid. Yes, it is bad and in its unfolding of the story. It's contrived and doesn't make any sense. Even though it's flawed and it's got obvious problems with it, I still can overlook it for the sheer joy that it brings and how much fun I have with it and how memorable it was. Like I've been saying these lines forever, like, you know, my name is Horace, or kick him in the nards, or the wolf, you know, all that stuff. So, Band-Aid breath, like everything.
Yeah.
Band-Aid breath.
So I'm gonna give it a strong 9. I think it's a classic for me. Like I love this movie, so I know I'm gonna go hard in the paint.
Did you tear up when Frankenstein gets pulled away from Phoebe at the end?
When she gives him her like little buddy,
the little buddy like just flies out of her hand.
That touches your heart.
And he's like, "No, I gotta go." Oh, it's so sad, poor Phoebe, and she's fucking screaming. Yeah, no, you know what? I wish I saw this as a kid, but this is absolutely is a fun 80s nostalgic movie. And the second time I liked it even more. I can see myself watching this every year. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's up there. It's close to Goonies. I like Goonies a little bit better.
Yeah, like for me, I saw it at the age that, like the same age as these kids.
See,
I think that changes it for me because it's like so tied to my childhood. It's like weird, but like.
What about you, Anthony?
Oh man, yeah, I really liked the movie too. I was like 10 out of 10 when I first saw it, and then I went, there's some like clear like shit that's like not working well, like that they just don't. The movie's cut to shit. Like I don't know who edited that movie. And thought,
there's some definitely some stuff. There's missing scenes and extended
there's something
scenes
going on with the way they edited the movie and shot it, and it didn't come together the way it should in terms of making a cohesive story. But that only knocks it down a point. 9 out of 10.
Oh shit! Almost, that's great.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
I had so much fun watching that movie.
I'll tell you this. I knew that I liked this movie. Like, I knew this movie stood the test of time. Like, I know I always liked it. But I remember I was like, kind of like, I had to entertain a bunch of kids. And I put this on. And I was like, all right, either they're going to be bored or think it's stupid. And they actually were like, dude, this is awesome. And so I was like, okay, it does stand the test of time.
Well, the question for me is like, what age today is old enough to show a kid this movie? Do you think?
I would say 12 years old. Maybe.
I mean, but like back in the day, back then, like even younger, you would have seen worse shit and you were exposed to like worse shit than this. But I feel like that it's gone up a little bit. Yeah. The same age as the kids in the movie.
I mean, obviously, like if you're giving a kid a cell phone at like 9 years old, which most people are.
No, that's a good point.
You know, and they're all into shit like Five Nights at Freddy's or fucking whatever bullshit. Like, this is nothing to them. Like, this is not scary at all. They're fucking into creepypasta and shit like that. So
this was legit, some good legit scares back in the day, though. This is it's an underrated, underappreciated movie that has finally found like a huge following. I think that it deserves. So check it out. Check out the documentary. It makes you love it even more.
I don't know when my movie pick is up. Is it next week?
It is next week. Do you know what it is?
I already have it.
Okay.
You want me to reveal it now?
Let's reveal it now.
It's going to be The Birdcage.
Oh, seriously? Okay. Yep. All right. Robin Williams, Nathan Lane.
I haven't seen that in years.
Oh, wow. Well, that's it. That's Anthony's comedy pick next week, The Birdcage. I'm excited. All right.
From the 90s.
Yeah. All right. We're moving into the 90s. You heard it here, listener. Get ready.
I'm excited.
Prepare yourself. That. All right. Great stuff. Great movie. Let's do some news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
I got some comments from our listeners about last episode where we reviewed my movie pick that gave me all geek boner, Swingers. I know Anthony didn't enjoy it that much, but I'm glad you enjoyed Rug Boy's pick this week. I'm sure we'll get comments about reminiscing about this one. But a lot of good stuff from Instagram. Dirk Wood said, great ep. Love hearing you two reminisce and Anthony suffer. Was definitely an influential film for me too, talking about Swingers. Some other ones were not always for the greater good, but Dazed and Confused,
great movie.
Reality Bites, that was a great movie. I love Reality Bites. Empire Records, SFW, Basketball Diaries, Kids. Oh man, that movie's
that's a heartbreak.
That movie's fucking crazy. Human Traffic, Lahane. He said the 90s were sick.
Yeah, definitely sick.
So, dude, Reality Bites is a good one. There were a bunch of great movies like that coming out. Kids is a fucking disturbing movie because we watched it in where it was filmed in the West Village of New York, and I watched it when it came out. And you walked out of the theater, and it was like you were in the fucking movie.
Yeah, like basically it was like very much like Swingers, but it had a very realistic feel to it, almost like you're watching like a documentary.
Yes,
and it's about kids going clubbing, and doing drugs and just getting fucked up, and there's some really fucked up shit that happens to a girl, and
very real though. Harmony Korine did a great job. And then he's got a comment about the Marvels trailer last week when I was like, who's the bad guy? He says, Also, haven't seen the trailer, but I reckon Zawe Ashton, Tom Hiddleston's lady, is the villain in the Marvels. I've only ever seen her in the British show Fresh Meat, which she was great in, highly recommended. But I remember her piquing my interest when she was originally confirmed for Quantumania. So the fact that she's not in that makes me believe she's a Kang crony and possibly even the big bad moving forward due to a major, capital M, course correction occurring. That's an interesting theory. And then Joey Austin said, hey guys, I was just listening to the last show because you reviewed one of the greatest movies ever, Swingers. See, I agree, Joey. Only this movie could make such a blah time feeling nostalgic. Nothing against the 90s, but the 80s were amazing. That being said, I was thinking maybe the Jock could give some game advice to some of our Jock and Nerd Nation people who need some help with their game. Can't be that much of a stretch to think that a group called Jock and Nerd would have people that need some game help. Of course, if you ask the nerd if you need help with the game, he'll say, what game? I'm doing pretty good at Baldur's Gate right now. Come on, Anthony, do it for the nerds. Cue the inspirational music. The ones who've been picked on, put down, made to feel inferior. They've been told their whole life that they're not good enough. I like this call out.
It's time for you to call your Tony Robbins, Anthony.
What? Give him one piece of advice, Anthony. Just one.
So for what? To hit on girls?
Yes. Game advice.
Just go up and talk to the girl. And just do it. Every time you see a girl you want to talk to, sort of being up in your head about it. The more you're in your head, the worse it's going to be. Just go up and talk to her. It's probably going to go shitty the first few times, but if you do it enough times, you'll start to realize it's just another person.
Just picture Imran when you're talking to a girl.
Yeah, just picture all girls.
You see the beautiful baby over there? It's just an Imran. Just go talk to him like an Imran.
It's a big bear with these sharp claws. You don't know what to do? Come on. All right, solid. We went over a little bit last episode. I thought those were all good tips. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
Work on the Riz. So, all right, maybe we'll start the Riz. We'll start a segment.
Work on your charisma.
The Jock's game tips every week. Okay, let's finish up with some What Are We Watching? Has anybody caught up to Loki?
I have.
Oh, you have?
I watched it.
All right.
I watched it all, Imran.
All right.
Everything that's here in this thing, I watched.
I'm going to hit spoilers for everything.
Spoiler alert.
Episode 3 gave us the Jonathan Majors as Victor Timely. In a yet third variant of the Kang, giving us a very different performance from He Who Remains in Kang. Very odd delivery. What do you guys?
Yeah, I found it annoying. Yes.
What do you guys think of the show so far?
It's fine. It's good.
Enjoy. I thought.
I like the show.
Yeah, I thought the last episode was pretty good. It's moving along.
Show. It's written like a TV show, so there's things that happen where you go, okay, I'd watch the next episode. The design of the show has a very unique look.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
So I enjoy the production design.
They're moving things ahead. Like you feel like you're making progress every episode, and you're getting.
It's
somewhere,
halfway done.
Yeah, you're not like spinning your wheels.
Yes,
in the episode.
Yes, and I kind of really love the way things are unraveling with Sylvie, with Ravonna, with Miss Minutes.
And for me, I don't really know. Like there was a couple double crosses on Timely, so I don't really know what's going on, right?
Yeah, that whole thing was weird.
And at one point, the Miss Minutes wants to like be involved sexually with him.
Yeah, I think she's got a crush on. She wants to be there with him. And then you see her get sent back to the end of time, and he's like a fucking corpse. How long has it been? When is she there? That was kind of crazy. And Ke Huy Quan continues to be great. It's fun. It's fun. Some good action on a Ferris wheel in 1893. You know.
The rest of the stuff you got on here, I have not watched.
Okay,
so
anybody watched? Anybody caught up on Gen V?
Yeah, very good.
That show again.
I got to catch up.
Very enjoyable.
Good episodic TV, very enjoyable. Crazy shit happening every episode. Moving along at a healthy pace, and like surprisingly, all the characters have like great developed things about them that you kind of connect to, you can relate to. Would you agree, Ruggs? Like they're all pretty well fleshed out. They're doing a good job.
Yeah, and I think that what they're revealing, they're getting to it. They're not keeping it like the mysteries now. Up, everything's out in the open, kind of. But you feel like there's still something else you can find out. There's still something more to unravel. But for the most part, like now you know all the moving parts. What's going to happen next? Now it's just like how do they kind of face this challenge? So.
The show's got everything. I read that this show is happening concurrently with The Boys. I'm not sure. Is it after what we saw or is it happening at the same time?
No, it's at the same time.
It is the same time.
Yeah, I feel like it's all at the same time.
Well, I got a season 2 renewal, so we'll be getting more Gen V. It's fantastic. Can't wait till it wraps up.
Yeah, I really didn't think it was going to be anything to write home about, but it's actually very good. It's actually pretty good.
Dude, it's solid. It's like one of the best superhero shows.
Well, like
on right now.
That's not really saying much because everything sucks.
True.
So it's good in a world of really shitty shows. So it's good. It's what we remember as being good TV, like when Game of Thrones was on and shit, like a Breaking Bad. Good TV.
Amazon kills it with The Boys and Invincible. Like just both fucking solid.
Yeah.
What else did you watch, Rex?
I watched Scavenger's Reign, and I fucking really like this show a lot.
We talked about the trailer last week. It came out on Friday. They put out their first 3 episodes. It comes out every Thursday. These episodes are short. They're like 24 minutes. And wow, is this a trippy fucking show? I watched
it. Feels like a movie more like than a show.
It's wild. The storytelling, they drop you right in. Like the premise of the show is this space freighter is stranded and the people can't find them. But they drop you in months into these people being stranded, and they're already accustomed. And the fucking alien creatures and designs are wild. They're so...
It's like Annihilation. Remember that movie?
Yes, it is a lot like Annihilation. But these are such clever, like absolutely alien things doing weird things in their own way, reproductive-wise, and... it's fucking wild.
I feel like this show is like if you took Raised by Wolves and Annihilation and they had a little baby, and then that baby ate that baby and then shit it out and it became a mutant. Like that's what happens on this show. Like weird shit like that.
Weird shit. They hide in egg sacs and shit, and like they don't spoon feed you things, but they show you everything.
No, you have to figure it out. Like how did they figure out like what all? Like there's these 2 characters that have been on this planet for a couple of months, and they kind of know what shit does. Mm-hmm. So they're like sticking animals on their face for whatever reason.
They've already figured out how to use what's available. For example, in the very beginning, you see this guy dive into this fucking creature, this alien creature, and he's inside and he's pulling this vein that pops this other thing out. He pulls that, he shoves his hand in there, all to get these 2 little orbs, which are just flashlights. You smash them together, they glow. This is their source of light, and then he's got to trigger something else so the thing will vomit him up safely. And there's many instances of like these people already figured out how this alien physiology works, and it's fucking wild. And it's
beautiful too.
It's gorgeous,
like beautifully animated. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's great. One of the best animated sci-fi shows to come out of America. I mean, Japan does this shit all day long, and so does France. But like, this is the first one that I know of that America has made that has been this kind of sci-fi and like weird and shit. So
it's trippy as fuck. Get lit and watch it. It's amazing. But they're I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but I love that they're just like 24-minute short episodes.
I'm going to be really sad if it doesn't stick the landing because I feel like it can go either way. I feel like it's good enough now that like it could be a classic, and I feel like if they take the wrong turn and go into some weird ass shit, that it's going to fucking blow. And I'm very scared to watch the next few episodes.
I'm just fascinated watching these fucking aliens do their thing. Like a lot of it is just you're watching this one alien kills one of its own so that these spikes and this fruit grow to attract another alien, which eats the fruit, which emits a smell, which causes the first predator alien to jump and get them. This is like their evolution. And I was like, and they just show you that. You're like, holy shit, this is how they fucking hunt things.
It's super complicated.
So good. It's very good. Yeah.
It sucked me right in. Yeah.
HBO Max. What else did you watch?
I watched Bill Burr's directorial debut, Old Dads.
This also just came out on Netflix. I also turned it on last night and watched it.
It was all right.
It was okay. It's great seeing old cranky Bill Burr react to modern day shit.
I expected more. I feel like it was very surface level. Obviously, Bill Burr plays like the guy who's... You got like 3 different guys here. You got this one guy with it, Bobby
Cannavale.
Bonnie Cannavale plays this guy who's... They're all in their 50s or in their early 50s. Yeah. and he's trying to be cool. Bobby,
he's still trying to be hip with the kids.
He's trying to be hip. He's trying to be young. He's trying to use the vernacular of young people and whatever. Bill Burr's the exact opposite. He doesn't want to fucking have anything to do with young people. And they can suck his dick.
Yes.
And he's angry all the time. Great. And he's like the man who yells at everybody.
He's so great. He's Bill Burr. And then you got Bokeem Woodbine as the dude.
Not Dave Chappelle.
Not Dave Chappelle. It was really funny, but he has a girlfriend and an ex-wife and kind of is in the point of his life where his kid's grown up and he can enjoy.
Yeah, he was like having his midlife crisis, with the hot girl, and everything.
They own this Jersey throwback company that they sell, and then this 28-year-old kid comes in and takes over, and they got to deal with all this shit. You know what it really reminded me of? It's like a 50 middle-aged swingers. It's the other end of swingers. They go to a strip club. They try to go to Vegas. It was very similar. It was like dudes that age hanging out, trying to relate, bringing their kid to a hoity-toity private school.
My favorite part of the whole movie was their conversation in the car. Because that's the first time in any movie.
Oh, about rap lyrics of NWA?
In the recent, we're talking about getting laid. We're talking about fucking who would you rather fuck, this person, that person. And that's what guys actually talk about. When they're around each other, if they're drunk anyway. And there's no women around. That's locker room talk.
Yeah, and they get recorded and busted, and you see Bill Burr try to do some emotional stuff at the end. I mean, it must kind of work, but it's a fun watch. There's a couple of fucking great lines where he's just very politically incorrect, saying shit.
I didn't think it resolved itself good enough, but I did like how he called the lady a cunt.
Stumpy. The one guy had an offense of the word stumpy. Offended someone, not even the word.
When the guy brought up that he was 8% Malaysian or something, or
Sri Lankan.
Indonesian,
Sri Lankan, 8%.
Sri Lankan, that's it. Well, my 23andMe says I'm 8% Sri Lankan, and so I'm not white. I'm like, all right.
Oh my god, it was a fun watch. Also on Netflix is the Jennifer Lawrence movie. I got to check that out.
No Hard
Feelings is now on Netflix.
I'll check that out.
That's going to be the next one to watch. But Old Dads is a fun watch.
I have one more thing I want to just shout out because I'm watching it. It's called Over the Garden Wall, and it's like a cartoon about two guys. It starts Elijah Wood and Christopher Lloyd and other people. It's about these two kids that are lost in a forest, and it just gets progressively more fucked up, with the ghosts and horror and shit.
It's live action,
and it's supposed to. No, it's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
It's a little kid. It's like a little kid's cartoon, but it's fucked up.
Shit.
And I was like, I heard that it was won awards or
what's it called?
Or not. Over the Garden Wall.
Over the Garden Wall.
It's on. I believe it's on Hulu.
Oh, it's on Hulu. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really fucked up show. But anyway, I am enjoying that. There's only 11-minute episodes. They're very short.
All right.
And what else is going on?
Well, next week we decided we're doing The Birdcage, but out this week in the theaters is a very interesting movie. Rug Boy thinks is going to do huge. Movie.
I don't know. I mean, from what I know, all these Zoomers.
Yeah, the Zers. So the movie.
They like Five Nights at Freddy's.
The movie is called Five Nights at Freddy's. It has an interesting release strategy. It's coming out day and date on Peacock and in the theaters this week, October 27th, just in time for Halloween. The review embargo apparently doesn't lift till after the movie comes out, or maybe they moved it. It
means it's hot garbage.
Why do you think this is going to be? You think this is going to be a big one?
Because there's.
What is it about?
The Zoomers all grew up on Five Nights at Freddy's, and not even playing the game, just watching Markiplier play.
Oh, it's a video game. Okay,
he's a big YouTuber, and people would just watch him play, and all of the big YouTubers, all of the biggest streamers, stream Five Nights at Freddy's, even to this day.
Oh, interesting.
So, so Five Nights at Freddy's is a throwback to you remember Funtime Pizza and Chuck E. Cheese?
Oh yeah,
where you go and you fucking anyway. So evidently the story is that the guy murdered some people, and those the souls of these kids that he murdered and stashed in his restaurant have now possessed all of the animatronic monsters.
Okay,
animatronic rock band that they have there. and then they come to life at night and kill people. So that's what Five Nights at Freddy's is. And in the game, you play like a guy that has to like work there and stay alive like through that night while everything's attacking you.
There's 9 of these games.
Yeah, so now there's like a whole lore and a whole fucking thing that goes with it, and it gets pretty wacky. But it's like a whole iceberg. But like I think it's very popular because I follow a lot of streamers and they're always talking about this. And even if it's a shitty movie, I think people are still going to go see it opening weekend. So I think it might do pretty good. I don't know. If it does really bad, I will be surprised.
The game has sold 33.5 million units worldwide. It's a big game.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I think it's going to be a terrible movie.
We'll see if Five Nights can beat Taylor Swift or
I don't know.
Scorsese.
But it's a Halloween movie too, and people want to see a Halloween
good timing.
movie.
I think it's a perfect weekend for it. So
hopefully I'm wrong and no one goes to see it.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's it then. Rugs, where can the people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy. So come by and follow.
Check out the show description for links to all of that. Most importantly, listener, share the show. Spread the geekery. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Your time is running out.
Sometimes make it good, sometimes make it shit. Jock and Nerd.